Okay, so we're here today. I'm here with Christy Crane, and Christy is a top producing realtor here in our local area, covering all of Florida.
Pretty much, pretty much.
And pretty much all of Florida. So, welcome, Christy. And let's open it up with I know we have real estate is one of our main things, but let's dive back and let's talk about who Christy Crane is. Where were you born? Who are you? Where did you come from? I'll
Yeah,
try to
so grew up in Newberry. Most of my family's from Newberry. A lot of my family's from the Trenton Gilchrist County area. And then moved over to Alachua, graduated from Santa Fe High School. So pretty much diverse in all the different surrounding counties with blessed with a lot of family. I don't know if that's good or bad. So a lot of farming community, farming family, my mom, single mom. So learned to work ethic
yeah,
for sure.
work hard.
Work hard.
Single moms have it's tough.
Yeah, very.
But when I became a parent and realized how much Crystal and I like team up on things, you go, I don't know how a single mom, especially a working single mom that has so much to do. That's tough. That is brutally tough to do. And so you were in Newberry, growing up around farming, lots of family, which that's a good thing.
Yes,
Family can be stressful, but at the same
yeah,
time, it's good to have them.
for sure.
It's good to have them. So let's talk. How'd you meet your husband?
Some friends was in High Springs at the ballpark, and yeah, like who's that guy? And he's 4 years older than me, so it was actually one of my friends' older brother. Never met him until then. So met him
Wow.
at the ballpark, and then over the course of probably 2 or 3 years, just kept running into him, and then finally got him to ask me out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Finally got him to ask me out, and we went on a date, and then pretty much got married a year later to the
Wow.
one day after our 1 year anniversary of dating. Got married, 34 years
34 years. Holy
ago.
cow.
Yeah, two boys.
I knew you guys have been married a long time, and it was
Yeah,
34
yeah.
years.
I know. I'm dating, aging myself now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice. I mean,
yeah.
and your boys, and your now we'll get to the boys. We'll shift back. You got so he's in farming.
Yes.
Has he
Yes.
always been in farming? A family farm?
Yes, so farms. So he farms. We have cattle,
Hmm.
and then we have contract with B&B Produce. So he grows green beans.
Okay.
So we grow green beans. Most of the time, they end up going through P-row, which you will see in Publix. So when you go to Publix, Costco, you see the P-row bags. So that's those beans. 99% chance they came from right here.
Really?
Yeah. So we
Oh,
grow up to, I mean, sometimes upwards of 800 acres, which is quite a
that's a
bit.
lot.
Twice a year, spring
Wow.
and fall.
Does he do lease land, or is it all your land?
Some is our land. I would say 80% of it is we end up leasing. So
Wow.
we rotate the crops out.
But I seen him over there on 441.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I didn't know it was him till I saw your posts or social
Yeah.
posts of
Hmm.
him where I said, "Oh, I saw him when I drove by."
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, that's the hardest thing. I think my passion for saving this farmland. And it's funny, I'm in real estate, so I'm all about selling property,
Yep.
but responsible growth.
Hmm.
I mean, we see these neighborhoods sitting empty. So, can we just sell those or modify them? Do we have to just keep taking up farmland? Because it's getting harder and harder to find contiguous acreage.
It's real hard, and that's one of the things that I think people are starting to notice
Hmm.
is Florida's growth is insane. We've seen that, and it's similar if you look back in history in the 20s.
Right.
Florida went through the same kind of growth in a different level, and it actually caused a boom that ended up busting. And of course, we went through the 2008 bubble here, but that was a
Yeah.
national thing. But the Florida boom, that back in the 20s, so very, very similar in some respects of the growth. But we've seen South Florida get completely decimated as far as being overbuilt, and
Yes.
now they're all coming here.
And that's what's
And
happening. I mean, the bulk of my business, I get asked all the time, are these buyers, are they coming from, California, New York? No, they're actually Floridians
yeah,
that are being pushed out of the bigger cities that are moving inland because of, there's air rights. I think most of us don't think about the three parts of owning property is what's underneath you, mineral rights,
Yeah.
what you're standing on, and then what's above you. And we don't deal with air rights here because, I mean, we don't have skyscrapers.
No.
But in the cities like Clearwater and Tampa and Jacksonville, it was never an issue. Well, now you've got these really smart, condominium owners that are like, hey, we can see the water if we build, so many feet higher
Yeah.
than these little people. And then these little people that once could see the water now can't because they're building skyscrapers and choking them out.
It's
So
gone.
they're selling, for pennies on the dollar and moving.
So when you have a large landowner who may be considering trying to sell to flip it to a DR Horton or Lennar, is what's their mindset in trying to do that? Just to cash out? Is it usually a
Most of the time, I don't think they really set out to do that. I think they're approached and they say no,
Mhm.
no, and then, and I mean, we own a lot of acreage personally,
Yeah.
so I can see where that could be appealing,
Mhm.
especially, our boys are grown and gone and have their own families now, and they own their own properties and they own their own businesses. So it's daunting for the upkeep, and then when you farm it and the ROI, return on investment, may or may not be there. Not everybody's fortunate enough to have contracts. And
Yeah.
even when we're under contract, say for instance, with beans, what happens if, there's a hailstorm or
Mhm.
disaster? We're not guaranteed anything back. It could
Yeah.
be a total loss. So when DR Horton comes along and offers you all this money and you're like, hey, I don't have to sweat this again. And then we're in our 50s, mid
Yeah.
50s. So, I mean, why not?
It's an easy out.
It's an
And
easy
and
out.
it's and it, you can't fault the people because I've heard it from people say, "Why are they selling this?" And
Yeah.
just what you said. And as much as we hate seeing the DR Hortons come in, it's an easy way for
They're the
them
ones with
to
the
flip.
money
They're the
to
ones with
buy
the
it.
money. And the bad part is a lot of the money that's coming through those national builders is foreign money.
Correct.
And so that's how it's being funded so fast and so rapidly. And I think it's caught everybody off guard because, you know, 10 years ago, you didn't see this kind of growth. All of a
Right.
sudden, it's happening, and they're seeing, oh, our comprehensive plans allow for it, and all they got to do is just bring it through planning and zoning, flip it from ag to commercial or high density residential, and you're on your way. And that's how the contract's usually written. And to I'll buy this land from you as long as we can flip it, and we usually will. We do that, done. The deal's done.
Feasibility,
Yeah.
have
Hmm.
feasibility time frame to get it
Yeah.
all done.
It's
And
done.
if the local cities and municipalities don't have something in place for that, there's nothing to stop them from doing so.
Yeah. It just keeps rolling forward.
Exactly.
So you've been a very good advocate for you're not an anti-growth person, but you've been an advocate for agricultural.
Correct.
And you see the need, which I agree with, on preserving ag land, but you got to make it financially feasible.
Correct.
So that comes down to advocacy. I'm sure
Mhm.
talking to the right folks, making it feasible for farmers to survive,
And
large farmers.
finding, I am fortunate enough to have some of these larger corporations out of other states that have the money that are in ag that we've worked with and partnered with personally to say, hey, here's an idea. Why don't you purchase this land, lease it back to the farmer, and then your product can be grown here, which most of them do not want to grow overseas. They don't. They
Yeah.
don't want to go to other countries. They want it grown right here. One of them, I could tell you right now, they've been in the United States for 100 years. Their company's 99 years old,
Wow.
and they want to continue to do business, but they're being pushed out of South Florida.
Hmm.
So I'm like, hey, I mean, Swanee River Management, I mean, they take a bad rap, but they're easy to deal with. I
Yeah.
mean, if within regulation, so you can pump that water responsibly.
Mhm.
And we do get a considerable amount of rainfall. So this is a great area and we still have 100-acre plus, available. So purchase this. I know farmers that want to sell. They don't want everyone to know that.
Yeah.
So I've sold a lot of farmland in the last, I'd say 5 years that no one even knows has sold and traded hands because it's still being farmed.
Still being farmed. It hasn't turned into Lennar or D.R.
Correct.
Horton,
Yeah.
which could easily happen
Yes.
because their eyeballs are up here.
Hmm.
And that's why they're here because they're running out of land. I mean, I think St. Pete, you can't even build anymore unless you tear something down.
That's right.
And so Florida's full. And that's why we're seeing I mean, I grew up here too. And I remember driving on the interstate and it was normal. Now it's just so dangerous.
I
I
know.
went to Nebraska and I fell in love with it.
Oh, wow.
It was
Yes.
just farmland
The
everywhere.
whole Midwest is just insane.
I fell in love with that
Yeah.
and Montana and that area. And when I was on the highway there, we're all doing 72, 73 miles an hour, and there's a car maybe 40 car lengths ahead of me and
Yeah,
another one
yeah,
like 40 behind me. And I'm like, there's no one on these roads. This is
yeah,
wonderful. It was great.
yeah.
But I remember Florida, not to that level, but it was
Yeah,
very,
and you go to Okeechobee, there was nothing. I
yeah,
mean, and now it's just bumper to bumper.
it
Yeah,
is insane.
yeah.
So something has to happen.
Mhm.
And I think what you're doing is different than what I've seen a lot of others in the industry do. There's just sell, 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 sell.
Right.
You're thinking future wise.
Correct.
How do we save this industry, save the land to be properly used, and look at existing neighborhoods? How do we sell those? Because,
Right.
like you said, there's a lot of them that aren't selling because you have these new neighborhoods that are poorly built, and we got quality homes over here that are being overlooked that
Exactly.
you're going to end up putting that money into this house anyway,
Mhm.
repairs later down the road versus this other house that you could pick up. So that's where coming to you is having someone that can truly advise on that. Of
Yeah, and
course,
I mean, talking to some of my builders now, my contractors saying, "Hey, I know you want to build these new spec homes, but I mean, here's a couple of houses you could pick up now
yeah,
that the bones are great." And everybody loves that Chip and Joanna Gaines. They want that whole reveal of, look at this. I mean, so if you have a solid block home or solid brick, with a brand new roof, new HVAC, new everything, they don't build homes like that.
no, they don't.
You cannot get that home, especially when you get your electric bill on those homes and it's, $150 a month because it's solid.
Yeah, I did a video on a home that was a 1973 home, and they renovated it, but they kept its character.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. This is basically like a almost a mid-century in a way, but a little older version. But they kept it in its block built solid. It just needed a new roof and new internals, and
Mhm.
that thing is gold.
There's one in High Springs I think I'm gonna have you follow,
Yeah.
and you shot the original, and it's my friend Beverly Polk's family home, and
Okay.
it's the one that's on it's like a whole city block.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was I mean, you had the pink carpet and okay, so you did that. So we had it under contract in 2 days.
Wow.
And so the person purchasing it is actually an interior designer. She fell in love with that mid-century. She just fell in love with that house.
But that house
So
is.
she's bringing it back. And she's keeping it.
Oh,
She's not splitting those lots. And it has that spring that runs through the back in the creek.
I know.
Sure.
Amazing.
I know. Yeah. So
So I
she's
shot
bring
this house, and with
yeah.
I went to go like update the website because I wait a day to let you guys get it up, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get, and it's go in to pull data, it's already under contract. I'm going, what?
It,
But when I was
we didn't
shooting
even get
it,
the signs out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
It's gone.
beauty of this home, like you said, is it's got such good bones,
Mhm.
and the doors,
Yeah,
like,
and her dad actually, played a big part in building the home because she'd say, "Well, my dad did this, and my dad did that." So
uh,
I'm like, "Okay, I can see now." Because I'm like, "Why was this cut out like this?" She said, "So he could access the plumbing."
smart,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so I'm anxious to see how this. We're just. I think today we finalize inspections,
Mm.
but it would be neat to
Let's follow that one.
follow that one, and especially with this segment to say, "Okay, remember this story, and then this is what can happen,"
Yeah,
because that house sits so high on a hill and overlooks that neighborhood. It's really
that
classy.
that one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put the video up. So the video of the house is running. And so that house, yeah, that one is going to be fun. And that's the thing I think with the builders, some of the contractors, the smaller guys
yeah,
that could pick those up. But then a good way to sell those is to come in, I think in marketing, is to come in beforehand, film it all, and follow the progress. But
right.
as you're doing that, promoting it the whole time, so someone sees this house is coming to market and
Yeah,
look at what's happening. So they're already doing it. And so and people will follow that journey because that's why HGTV does so well. Is
yeah. And this one, I mean, you know what that house looked like.
yeah, oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it was rough,
It needs work,
but that
but
was the first time that I used virtual staging.
yeah,
Never done that,
mhm,
and then you talked me into it,
yeah.
and then that's really what did it for her to see that.
You can see what it looks like. it gives you the vision,
Yeah.
the future look, and it
Mhm.
grows it, and the spring in the back. That was amazing.
Yes. And I
That
mean, it's
that
dry right now, and
yeah.
then, I mean, can you imagine? Because it holds water.
Yeah, didn't know, wasn't aware of that. I was out just wandering the property. I said, "Where does this go?" I said, "Oh my
With the
gosh."
native trees
Yeah.
and the
The
oranges
orange
and stuff.
trees and everything.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part about real
Mhm.
estate is creating visions like
Correct.
that. And like you said, that's something, a secret I think to your success is that vision that you use with your sellers and your
Mhm.
buyers is to be able to help them see what they need to see.
Right.
I've seen that with you. I know that with you, and I think that's probably something that is a piece that works with you. Advice that you would give to someone that's starting in real estate today. What would be the first thing that you would do if you started today with zero contacts?
Zero contacts. I think it would be go to your, local businesses. Just go to your local restaurants. Spend more time. I know it's funny because we always say shop local.
Yeah.
Am I looking at you or that? Where am I
You
supposed to be
you can
looking?
look at me
Okay,
or that,
okay,
but you can look at me, and then
okay. And then look at
there's the
that.
cameras. So I look at them every now and then to
Okay,
see.
so yeah, I was
So
trying to figure it.
yeah.
So, I mean, go to your local businesses. And the reason why I say that is I didn't realize how important this was. Um, I try to shop local
Hmm.
and um, nail places doesn't matter, but I'd really go to High Springs or
Yeah.
to Alachua, wherever my local place is, and you make conversation, and then they start to ask you. Even I didn't know them at all, and the nail place in High Springs. And the next thing I know their kids, grandkids, they're second generation now. I'm taking them green beans. I'm taking them fresh beef out of my freezer. They're bringing me stuff. I mean, that's how you build those contacts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have none, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You go to your local restaurant, you meet your waitress. I can't tell you how many homes I've sold to my waitresses, my bartenders, restaurant owners. I've actually sold businesses to restaurant owners I didn't know them at all. I mean, it was
Hmm.
just through eating there and saying, you know what, this is like one of the best meals I've had in a long time. And then just developing a conversation.
It's connections.
It is
You know,
connections.
I tell people that a lot. And it's a sales business,
It is.
but it doesn't have to be salesy.
Exactly. And be not, be nice. But the hardest thing I think that I see with agents or realtors is they don't listen.
Mm.
You know, they think they know what's best. And I know that because I deal with them and they're trying to tell me from the others when they're on the other side of the contract what they feel is best. I'm like, I don't even think you're listening to your buyer. So if I'm on the selling side, I have one right now. I'm like, you don't kill a deal over something small.
No.
We problem solve. And unfortunately, problem solving skills are rare.
Hmm.
And that is something I think you really have to have in this industry, or else you'll just continue to have contracts that fall apart.
Every top producer in real estate that I've ever dealt with has that same quality. The heavy hitters, the ones that do really well, are problem solvers. They don't say, "Well, that's it. We're done," and just have a meltdown.
Right. I
Um,
call it the Chicken Little effect.
yeah.
You remember the cartoon, the
Yeah.
chicken,
Hmm.
sky's falling? When I get those, Lauren Fagan,
Yeah.
my
Oh, yeah.
executive assistant,
She's awesome.
she's like, "You have a Chicken Little." I mean, I'm like, "I know. We'll help them." So we handhold. I mean, I handhold these agents because my job is to make sure that if I'm listing something, that it is sold and it is handled, and my seller is nonetheless stressed that all the back scene, they
Yeah.
don't see it. And then if it's on the buying side, I try to make it as smooth as possible. So if there's a debacle during inspections or whatever, I'm just getting it handled and then they're moving in with as least amount of stress as they're already dealing with because they have a new mortgage payment coming
Yeah.
or they're moving from one location to another. And, without involving them in all the details.
Because I've always felt that home ownership and buying a home should be a good experience, and I've seen it so many times not be.
Correct.
And so and I've said this many times with realtors in general, you're the quarterback. You're literally throwing the ball to every person, lender, title,
Right.
insurance, inspectors, all the issues.
It's definitely not it's not sticking that sign in the yard and going, "I
Yeah,
hope this sells." And then, "Oh, look, we got a contract, we're done."
yeah.
It is definitely not that.
And but the perception it
Yes.
is telling me you're doing your job right because no one saw the problems.
Correct.
You took all the bullets, all the arrows, everything else, and handled all that without your customers. Oh, well, you sold the house and like like the one in High Springs in 2 days.
Yeah.
But the reason in 2 days is your network.
Right.
You have such a network of people. Once that hits the market, and you've got such a wide web
Yeah.
that instantly gets seen
And
and
it's
pulled
being
in.
nice,
Yeah,
because if you're not nice,
they don't wanna deal with you.
they don't, and they won't. I mean,
No.
agents will not.
Mm-mm.
If you send in a contract, I mean, I know, because
Yeah,
I say, "Oh, no, not this one," because
yeah,
it's painful.
mhm,
It's like, "Uh-oh." So
yeah,
whatever you establish as a persona, as a business person
mhm,
in this whole community will stay with you.
yeah,
And it is very difficult to change. It's like I always told my boys, be mindful of your reputation,
yeah,
because it's very difficult to fix that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
your boys are they're in farming, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. One's
are
land clearing and the other's farming, but he also, well, yeah, plants pine trees part of the year, and then he
oh, he does
does
farming?
big
Okay,
farming. Yeah,
yeah,
Austin.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know which one was
Yeah.
which one was doing which, but I
Yeah.
knew they were both
They
in that
stay
world.
busy.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's probably the one thing we all do too much of, is we work a little too much. Yeah.
That can happen,
Yes.
I feel the same pull,
Yeah.
um, but my wife's really good at saying, "No, no, no, we're gonna go on
Yeah.
this vacation." I'm like, "No, we can't, I
Yeah.
gotta work,"
Yeah.
and we go, and then it's great,
Yeah, she is
so
good at that.
and
And
when
I'm
the
getting better.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
but my phone, I mean, I think that's the hardest thing, is put your phone down.
it's huge, and how do you try to balance that? Because that is very hard, especially when you've got a lot of volume. You can't it's easy to say, "I'm just gonna set it down and shut down at 6, and I'm not gonna
No,
do anything," but you really can't
you
do
can't.
it to its level, but do you think is there a way that you could set a time when you can't look at it?
I think it's the one job, and I say this often, other than like if you were like one of the only brain surgeons, in the country,
Yeah,
because it's the one job that everybody expects you to be available 24/7.
yeah,
I get messages 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I
mhm,
don't want to bother you, but why it's on my mind. I mean, I get calls all the time, because it is the single most expensive purchase that you're
yeah,
going to make.
yeah,
So I know that buyer or seller feels 100% like I have to be, and I think I create that persona because I'm always available,
yeah,
and so that's on me. But not having, my kids are, I- I don't have anything to do but work, so
mhm.
there's that,
It's
and
true,
and
your
so
kids are grown now,
I
but you're
created
grandma
that.
now.
Exactly, that's right. And, but yeah, so, and I have Lauren, my executive assistant, and she's awesome. So our line of communication is, she starts a right off the bat, she starts a group text.
Mhm,
So if it's a listing or a buyer, we start a group text with them immediately, so that I'm following along. So that chain of command, and then I'm seeing it in real time. So
yeah,
we're not dropping the ball. I couldn't do it without that.
yeah,
There's no way I could juggle 30 listings at any given moment
mhm,
without that. And then
yeah,
our buying side. But to answer that question properly, I think I do at a certain point, around 9 o'clock, I do stop answering and
yeah,
just shut it down, unless it's a real emergency.
and you've probably found that the customers respect that?
They do.
Yeah,
And most of the time, they know me well enough to say, hey, listen,
mm,
I need a minute. Like
yeah,
Lauren and I, Watson just paid for us to go on this big cruise.
yeah,
And I'm like, how are we both? We've never been gone at the same time.
yeah,
And then, especially to not know if we're going to have, communication. So we reached out to every single person we're dealing with, at lender, everyone. We may or may not have service. I don't know. I was just so panicked. But every one of our customers all said, you guys need a break more
yeah,
than anyone. We
mhm,
will be fine. And then, of course, Sherman and Watson, he was amazing. And Dave, they were like, we got you covered. We got you covered.
yeah,
But don't be gone too long. And I'm like, well, Dave was on the boat with us. So Sherman, he was all about it. And Dave's like, well, I'll make sure everybody's got you covered. And they did. Like, it was great. But I was so stressed, not knowing what I was looking at,
yeah.
when I got back. And you know what? The world did not collapse.
That's what I found.
Yeah.
I did the same thing because I'm a smaller shop, so it's just me. I
Yeah.
had a staff at one time, but I nailed it down to just me to boutique it, and I'm gone.
Yeah. It's
There's
yeah.
no one picking it up,
Yeah.
and so that's very stressful.
Yeah.
So I get it, and it does kind of mess with you a little bit on your vacation, but you
Yeah.
do gotta have to sometimes just go realize that when you get back, you know what? These clients work with me for a reason, and everyone knows everyone needs a break. It's not like you're gone for a month,
Yeah.
you know?
And I'm an overachiever, so,
Yeah,
I mean, that's always been probably my biggest character flaw is being a people pleaser and an
yeah,
overachiever, so
mhm,
I've learned that, if I do my job well and I've communicated well, then it's gonna be fine.
yeah, it'll come
Yeah.
around.
It'll come around.
And interviewing people, because we work together in marketing, so interviewing people that have worked with you, they all have that same thing. It's like, "I love her." And
Yeah.
so you really have genuinely given yourself to people, and I think that's the other piece that is really part of your success too, is that is you're genuine. It's not fake, and people feel that. People can feel
Yeah,
sales. They can feel that,
definitely.
and you gotta have that solid piece. So, how long have you been in real estate?
Let's see, 10 years, but prior to actually selling real estate house to house,
Yeah.
commercial, what have you. But prior to that, I worked at the Village Retirement. So I was there in Gainesville, 55 and up community. I was there for, gosh, 12 plus years and sales and marketing director of community outreach. So you didn't have to have a license for that because it was all in house rentals.
Yeah.
I love that job. It's probably like my favorite job working with senior adults. It was, I'd meet them and maybe, a lot of times they were just looking for future.
Yeah.
Is this right for me? Is this what I'm going to do in the future? And I met so many wonderful people and, yeah, from different careers.
So you were already honing that craft
Yeah.
of understanding and listening.
Right.
With honing back to what you said earlier, listen.
Listen.
Gotta listen to what people want.
Mhm.
Um, and I've seen that with sales, where people just you hear what you want to hear, and then you think you want to push them to where you need to listen to them, and but also be willing to have the harder conversation when you have to,
Right.
but know how to tactfully do that. So when you were at the villages, you were there for how long?
The village in Gainesville was 12 years.
12 years. Really real estate's been the
Yes.
career in essence. Prior to that, was there
Prior to that, my mom had a bunch of medical clinics, so
okay,
I kind of managed those. And
managed it.
then I had a store here in Alachua for many years, so
Okay.
for about 5 years on
Well,
Main Street and sold it.
what was it?
Christie's on Main.
Christie's on Main.
So it was in the old banquet hall.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, for I think it was like 5,000 square feet. So I
Yeah.
subdivided that and rented from Rick Robertson. And I mean, I love Rick, and I know that yeah. So I had an amazing experience with that. I
Nice.
miss it every day. People ask me all the time, "Will you do it again?" And I don't know, stick around because
Yeah.
maybe in High Springs you might see something very soon.
Yeah.
So
That would
yeah,
be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
it's it's some stuff like that,
yeah.
sticks with you.
I miss the people. I mean, I loved having the store.
Store I think stores are still alive,
Yes.
and people still wanna shop local. The big thing I think is you gotta balance it with online and
Correct.
local.
Yeah.
So people can if I can't get down to Christie's today, I can
Right.
jump on my phone and get something from Christie's
Exactly.
and get it popped over to me. So if
Mhm.
you can balance that, you can really but really make the experience coming in
Right.
and to because people I feel are starting to want experiences. Look at Morgan Wallen,
Yeah.
2 concerts in the same. I've never seen that happen
I went to
where
both. I did. I went to both.
and it's experience. And I think we're seeing more and more of that across the board where people are wanting the experiences again. So I call it analog, but balancing with digital. So you're there analog, you're experiencing it, but then you're wanting to share it digitally. And so people want the experiences. And so that's been an interesting thing I've seen. I think the big box store is eventually going to be warehouse deliveries with
I do too.
almost like service merchandise. They'll have like a showroom front where
Right.
you can see everything if you
That's
wanted to, if you,
package.
yeah, if you actually wanted to see it, but you don't have to show up there. But if you do, they have a place for you to look at it, but you can still pump it. They're still going to be cranking them out. That's kind of where I see that going. But you're your career in real estate. So your first year in real estate, how was that? Since you did kind of have experience with the villages, but you weren't licensed and you were dealing with older folks.
Yeah, so what happened was I took some time off and we built a house. And so I decided to own or build it. And
Okay.
which was crazy. I
Yeah.
loved it. I mean, I was like, I can do this. And had a really good friend, Toby Griffiths, that stepped in and kind of gave me a big hand with that and was very instrumental in walking me through what to do. And was one of the best trim carpenters ever. And was at the time when building it tanked, the market tanked.
Yeah.
So it took a year, and Andy was traveling with work. So the boys were little. I just built this house from the ground up and in the middle of the farm. And I did that. And then everyone wanted to come look at it. I wanted to look old.
Yeah.
So I built a new house that looked old. So
Hmm.
you came in, you wanted to feel at home.
Yeah.
So I love design work. So I had um, that Mark McKinney and then
Yeah.
Scott Rosenboom.
Yep.
So they were like, "Hey, Christy, why don't you want to help us out? If you got some time, we've got customers that they can't really come together and decide what they want to do, the husband and wife. So we're on a stall on this house." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So there's that listening, and I took psychology in college, so I was able to rationalize and negotiate, and then I would pick all the everything out for the house, everything, floors, walls, paint, everything. So whenever they go to build, it was already done.
Yeah.
And then I would have some friends that would say, "Gosh, I wish you could just sell my house." And then that's where it started.
Wow.
I was like, "Wait, why am I not selling your
Yeah.
house?
It
I'm
should sell.
referring it out."
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I'm like, I should be doing that. So then I just like, okay, let me get my license. And then it grew from there.
It grew from there.
Yeah.
When did you see that was it your first year kind of skyrocket up, or was it like
No, because I kind of I was still doing so much design work and I had
mhm.
so many houses going at the time. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So I was just taking them as we were finishing one of the new houses, I was helping them sell the house they were in. And then, the second year it really started gaining momentum and I thought, man, I really love this, the
Yeah.
challenge. And then I started putting more of myself into the real estate. To be honest, I think to be a good agent, it's really that third year is
Mhm.
when you really know if you're
If you
really going to be successful. The first year, it was really hard to judge them because the market, when I came into the business, you got to realize then the interest rates were, I mean, they're what they are now.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Mhm.
like, they're ridiculous. I'm like, this isn't
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's 7 and 8% now.
Yeah.
You
That's
people,
when I started
but
was
then again,
9%.
exactly. But then the housing market pricing was
Mhm.
lower.
Mhm.
But then when interest rates dropped, prices went up, and we
Mhm.
have not adjusted for that.
No, it's gonna take a
And
long time to
it's going to
adjust.
take a long time to get back to that. And that's where the problem came in. So then you had these agents that came in, everybody wanted to get their real estate license because at 3%, I mean, who everybody was buying whatever. It
Yeah.
didn't matter if the roof was falling in, they were buying it
Yeah.
because they had enough cash on hand
Mhm.
to renovate. And, that was a good deal. So I kind of felt sorry for those agents because I thought they really don't know how to work
Yeah.
because they haven't had to make cold calls. They
Mhm.
haven't had to reach out. They haven't had to make those connections. It just happens.
Yes.
And so
Shooting
when
fish
the
in a
market
barrel.
exactly. So when the market changed, and then we see more and more of them, going back to whatever they did before, because it is a very rough market, and these deals do not close.
Mm.
And you've got to be able to get in the trenches, roll up your sleeves, and say, okay, what can I do to make this work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta do the work. I think
yeah,
that 3% market for one is a rubber band and we got a rubber band pulled back right now, and if they ever
yes,
dip the rates, we're gonna see a skyrocket in pricing,
correct.
which is gonna put us in another pickle
Yeah.
later, which is what we're in now. But those agents coming in, I saw it too. Same with lending. Like
Yeah, you were, because that's when you were doing lending.
everybody was in lending. Everybody was a loan officer.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time I turn around, I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, even some of our local policemen, I'm like, wait, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, I could get 10 leads and not even with closing my eyes,
exactly.
And so now everybody's got to work in the industry.
Right.
And so you went through
Oh,
the
yeah,
right times to
correct.
understand it, to understand how to work. So you say in your third year is when you start to see your momentum go to like, okay, I've got enough clients, I'm starting to build. What is that next step that says, okay, I'm going from 3 listings a month to 5 listings a month. I want to get to 15 listings a month. When do I hire an assistant? Like, what are those
That's about
metrics?
when. That I mean, and that's the biggest thing is set your money aside. I think one of the biggest things I see that I feel like, and I mean to each his own,
Mm,
is when these agents get those first checks, they are buying cars,
yeah.
they're buying things, and they're not setting that money aside to grow their business.
Mhm,
And the biggest advice I can give you is set the money aside to grow your business. Because if you don't do so, you won't have one because you've
mhm.
got to have the help. Because there's no way that you can possibly manage the paperwork that is required of us. They've added so many. I mean, we just there is so much paperwork now that we didn't have before. And
Yeah,
if you don't have it and you don't have a good broker advising you, you are open to a lawsuit. And now we see more agents being sued along with brokers.
yeah,
And I've never seen that before. And that's very scary.
yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that. But we're always researching, looking, and luckily I do have Lauren that looks after. And then we have Sherman, which is like he is
What's
on
the
the paperwork.
and I've seen this in lending, they always give us the advice, basically, it's 1 loan, 1 or 2 loans a month in cost will get you 10 if you bring in an assistant. So in your space, if someone is at that 3-year mark and they're getting about 5 listings a month, would that be a space for them to start looking at an assistant,
Even part-time,
even a
even
part-timer
part-time.
to
And some say transition coordinator, young transition
mhm,
coordinator. Well, that's great, and they do a wonderful job. But to have someone say, "Okay, we gotta," I mean, Lauren will put signs out. I mean,
mhm,
pick signs up, put sold on them. I mean, those are the biggest thing. Put the signs are huge. I
yeah,
mean, it lets people know you're there, and that costs a lot of money. I mean, I spend a lot of money, on marketing,
yeah,
but I mean, the signage. I mean, I spend thousands of dollars.
yeah,
I mean, that no one hands that to you.
no,
So put your money back into that. That's another part of that. But I'd say even hire a part-time assistant. It could be someone you know. I mean, this sounds crazy, but like, Charlie, when she started with me, she was in high school, just
mhm,
doing my mark. I didn't have time to do social media.
yeah,
I didn't. I mean, and now she's off and flying, and I've got you,
yeah,
and we've taken it. Then you grow it to the next level.
yeah,
When you get to that level that you can afford to do that, but it's still constantly being mindful, saying, okay, even though I'm making X amount of dollars, I may not make that next month because we don't know what the market's gonna be.
correct.
There's no given.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that do you have a percentage that you would think out of, say, let's just say out of $1,000, what would you say, "If I made $1,000, how much should I cut that back to put back into my business?" If we were just saying simple
S
numbers.
So for me, about 30% of that.
Okay,
I mean, I hold that back.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's gonna take care of your marketing piece, and then you still have your taxes that you gotta deal with on
correct.
top of that.
And that's another chunk.
Yeah,
Yeah, because unfortunately in this business, we don't have a big write-off.
mhm,
I look at Andy and he's always screaming about tire repairs, which are thousands of dollars,
yeah.
and his help. And then he's got a bunch of employees, and then the help tears stuff up every day. And I'm like, well, at least you got a write off, and he's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah,
but it's true. I don't.
yeah.
So in real estate, you don't have a big write off.
No, mileage is probably it, right?
That's about it. I
Yeah,
mean, you've got your marketing, some
yeah,
marketing,
some
some meals
marketing.
here and there, but they even
Mhm,
cut you back on that too.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
they don't want you every single thing.
yeah, they know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you gotta open yourself up for an audit if you
yeah. You got to be
yeah,
super mindful. Yeah,
yeah. So that's a because I think the biggest thing what I like to do on these podcasts is to be able to bring someone in who's done it to help future people or people who are
right.
currently in it that are stuck, that are at this plateau where they're going, man, I know I could do it, but I'm afraid to let it go. So when you bring an assistant, and I fell for this one time, when I brought in my first assistant was I didn't have a training. I didn't even know what needed. I just did. I didn't even
Right.
analyze what I did. Do you suggest, like, before you hire someone, literally map out everything you do?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what I did. I had an outline. And then, fortunately for me, I hired someone. The irony is Lauren.
Yeah.
She actually worked for me when I had my store many years ago, and so she called me to show her a house, her and her husband, and so she's like, "Hey, I've been a stay-at-home mom, and I want to come work for you." And I'm like, "What are you doing Monday?" And so that's how it started. But fortunately for me, I knew Lauren would be a good fit
Yeah.
because she's very organized.
Yeah.
She's very methodical, but not just that. The person she worked for before, um, she was Lauren's was in charge of collecting all the HOA fees and stuff, so she's
Oh, yeah.
familiar. And not only that, they have purchased homes. So I mean, there's so many realtors I meet now that's never even purchased a home.
Yeah.
So it blows my mind. I'm like,
Mhm.
How do you know the process?" So
Mhm.
I think when you're hiring an assistant, talk to them and make sure they at least know the process.
Correct.
I mean, at least they get the grasp. Even if they haven't, they understand the process. And then because you can teach it to them and map it out. And I mean, that's exactly what I did with Lauren. We sat down and she knows that I like things done a certain way. And what I love about her is if that's how I want it, okay, so be it.
She's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'd have Crystal be my assistant if I could,
Yeah.
but because she'd probably kill me actually. But Lauren's amazing because Lauren's very on top of things and
She is.
organized. She's got a great attitude.
She does.
She's a can-do person.
Very much so. And
She's
those are hard to
Yeah,
find.
she's that
They
glass
are.
half full. Like, okay, well, how do we keep filling it?
Exactly.
That's her, and that is very important on your side too, because she's representing you. She's talking to people for you
A lot of
sometimes.
times she is me.
Yeah,
Some people they think she is me.
yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "No, I'm not Christy." Yeah,
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 you can't have someone with a negative attitude
yeah,
at all.
yeah,
I think that's gonna be my first thing is if you come in and you have any kind of negativity, we're not gonna
yeah.
work together.
And I think that's important. And I mean, I would vet the person by asking for references.
Hmm.
I mean, luckily I've known Lauren,
Yeah,
but if I didn't, I would definitely talk to references and
yeah.
say, "Hey, and I would social media stalk them.
Hmm.
Yeah, let me look at that, even though that's 99% not reality, but still, you get a good depiction of who they are and what they do and where they attend.
Yeah, and who they want to perceive to be at least.
Exactly.
So you kind of know where they are. So it's
Yeah.
very important,
Yeah.
I think, because that is a representative of you. But that has been something I've heard as a pushback from some of the realtors I know and other business owners that I need that help, but I don't know how to get to that. I'm there. I'm scared to invest the money.
Yeah.
And so and finding the wrong person. And I think what you're saying is map it out, know exactly what you do. For before you hire anybody, you need to know what you do. Because sometimes you just do what you do and you don't really
Right.
have an idea. I just know how to do it. So literally sit down and roadmap yourself. And
And have
there's
them shadow. So Lauren shadowed, I mean, like Lauren rode with me, Lauren
Mhm.
shadowed with me as much as she could. And then, I'd say any questions, write them down. And at the end of the day, let's talk it out.
Yeah.
And then she's like, for the first year, second year, she's like, every day is something different. Like, I don't know if I can, and it is even now. I mean, years later,
Yeah.
she's like, every day is something different. And
Yeah.
it is. It's truly every day. I don't know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, that's true. In any, especially in real estate, especially in real estate, it's very there's so many moving parts. It's hard to really train for everything, but you got to have someone that's adaptable
Yes.
and that again, that positive attitude, because this business is an ugly business
Yes.
sometimes, and so if you have a negative mindset, you're going to go into it. You're going to go on a spiral
Because you
downward.
get some and they are not pleasant. And I
Yeah,
mean, I have to nice them to death,
yeah. Hmm.
and usually that's when I'm going across the street to get a chocolate espresso martini. Pull
It's
it together.
true. It's
It's
very
very true.
true.
I'm like, just
Yeah.
one. And Courtney's like, I got it. It's coming. But I will say, and this is just for those, agents that are thinking about hiring somebody, it doesn't have to be a big cash investment. I mean, it could be the way I started with Lauren was we did part time,
Hmm.
because she had her kids just work from home,
Yeah.
and then come in the office 1 or 2 days. But it was where every time I had a closing, then she got a bonus. So then it was you weren't so much cash out until we closed that
Yeah.
because I thought it was important for her to understand that I heard that I watched a podcast one time and I thought this was pretty profound. This really successful agent said, we perhaps have one of the only jobs that we get up every day and work and we're not going to get paid.
Correct. Yeah.
And same thing in lending. I mean,
Hmm.
it's one of those jobs where you get up, you work hard,
You don't know what's going to happen.
and you don't know if it's going to happen. I
Hmm.
mean, I could show 5 houses and not sell one, and I
Yeah.
normally don't.
Hmm.
It could come to fruition, and sometimes it's 2 years later
Yeah.
with that same family, and it's like, oh my gosh, we finally did it.
Or you worked with someone and then they happen to just stumble into another realtor and I've shown you 30 houses.
Exactly. And they're like,
And
well, we called and you were on vacation,
yeah.
so we got someone else. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
And usually, you know what? Actually, this is no joke. If it's a friend of mine, I'm glad that they that was for them,
Yeah.
honestly. But most of the time, 90% of the time, I just had this happen recently, and I've done the same in return. And it's Joan Soroka, who I adore.
Mhm.
There is a lot of amazing agents in this area that I don't even call coworkers.
Yeah.
They're like family.
Yeah.
And even though we all work for different companies, and I always say it doesn't matter what agency you work for, it does not, because we're all like a family locally.
Yeah.
Um, and she called me and she's like, "Oh, these people call, blah blah," but they just wanted me to let them in to look at it because they didn't want to bother you because it was Sunday. I was like, "John, I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
I said, "No, let me call them." And you know what she said? This is just just a testament to how wonderful that we do have a lot of great agents. She said, "But I'm happy to do that because I'm gonna be in town, and you probably do deserve a break today, and you would do it for me."
That's Joan.
I was like,
Yeah, and you would do it for her.
Yeah, and I did. I
Yeah.
said, "No." I said, "Actually, I'm coming through High Springs." I said, "I don't want you to." She said, "Nope, I'm not gonna let you do it because I really honestly have to be there." But I mean, so I even if she had landed it, I wouldn't have minded because that's something she would have done. Because a lot of times buyers won't tell an agent that
Yeah.
they're working with someone.
Mhm. No, they won't.
So it would have been a situation where she wouldn't have known. But
Yeah.
Joan is a seasoned agent like myself, where the first thing we ask is, are
Are
you
you
working with another agent? Most
correct?
agents won't ask that question because they don't want to know the answer because they need a sale.
They need the sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when it gets,
Yeah.
and then, I think you have the right attitude of like, well, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. It
Right.
is what it is. We'll move forward from it because if you hold the grudge and you have bad feelings and all this
Yeah.
other stuff, it's just not going to help
Yeah.
anything. And real estate's an interesting business too, is where even though Joan, competitor, local realtor, very successful too, but you guys technically work together
We do.
because if she gets a listing, you can sell that listing, vice
Exactly.
versa.
Yep.
You guys are jointly selling the market. And so that is the uniqueness of this
It is, it's true,
business.
like Jamie or Steve. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a whole
Jamie,
bunch of
yeah.
us. When we see each other's name, it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad it's you. I mean, like
Yeah.
literally there's a fondness. So it's kind of crazy, but I don't see them as competitors
Yeah.
at all. I mean, we're so thankful. Some are buyer heavy, some I'm listing heavy.
Mhm.
So they'll call me and say, what listings do you have? So we kind of have our niche. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. That's what it feels like. So like this morning, we're like, oh, thank God it's so and so. I mean, Laura and we got a contract in, and
Yeah.
oh, thank God. I mean, like I said, you're working with family, but
Yeah, and that's again, that is the really neat thing about this industry. I will say in the lending industry, even though we do compete, we don't have that luxury of
yeah,
working together,
right.
but we kind of do. The neat thing was I could call Waldemar and say, "Hey, man, I got
Yeah,
this deal.
he's right.
I don't know how to make this work." He'll go, "Oh, you do it this way with your underwriter," and it's, "Oh, okay." Or if I can't do something, I could call him and say, "Hey, I got
Yeah,
this deal. It ain't gonna work through our system, but your overlays don't have it. Let's send it over there."
right,
We don't make any money out of that transaction, but we know we took care of the client.
right.
And we all have that kind of relationship here in the lending side. So that was
Yeah,
the fun part. And even in the marketing side, I got some marketing guys I work with like that. You
yeah,
know, they have better equipment or something like that. Say, hey, this is better suited for you guys. I'll come, shadow you or whatever, help, but I need you guys to do it because this is way beyond me.
right. Exactly.
But that's the neat thing, and I think that harkens back to your success too. Is John and Jamie and a few others, they're successful because they have the same kind of attitude of we all work together.
Right.
We're not competing against you like, oh, dang it, Christy's got
Yeah,
this one now. She's dominating here or whatever. They're not feeling that way. It's
yeah.
more of like, if you bring a listing, well, that's an opportunity now.
They're like Leslie Gordon. She's like, who bought the Med Spa Cottage? And she goes, I so wanted to do that with you because she had the listing when I had the buyer.
Yep.
And then this time I had the listing and she had a potential buyer. I mean, so she had a great buyer for it, but there was an issue with the city and
Yeah.
what they wanted to do because church nearby, all the things. So,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, it was like when you congratulate one another
Hmm.
on a sale, even though you weren't part of it, you feel like you have that support system. And like I said, we're all different brokerages, but we're all family,
Yeah.
and which is cool.
So I think that's a piece that I see with over time as as another lesson for new people in is, yeah, this other realtor's in the business too, or even you have another one enters the market, don't get Don't get that feeling in your gut of like, oh, there's their sign, there's their sign.
Right.
Look at it as that's another opportunity for me to sell something
Exactly.
because now they've brought that to market. I can find a buyer for that.
Correct.
And so that's how you got to look at that. And so I think that kind of a mindset has helped you continue to grow on an upward swing. Lauren's been a huge piece of that. And as you're stepping into next levels now,
Right.
you're elevating, elevating, elevating. We're working on some stuff that's going to take us to another level next year.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and not get so caught up in the dollar signs of it all. I
yeah,
mean, it's easy to do that, but I've had, I've had customers say to me, "Well, I know this is, probably not as much as what you normally do," and I'm like, I don't have as much as I normally do. If it's 150 or 75, I don't care. I
yeah,
mean, if you need help, I mean that's what we do. But
it's,
one of the biggest things was I think these brokerages, agents. I mentor a bunch of new agents. I've got a new one now getting her license, and I don't talk to her where she's going to go work, but she's like, Miss
mhm,
Christie, I just need help.
yeah,
And she's one of my kids' friends, close friends. And we were talking about that. And so many of them get caught up in, I want to go work where I'm going to make the most money.
yeah,
You need to go work where you're going to get the most help
mentorship.
because mentorship.
Hmm.
There's a lot of these brokerages where you get like, 99%, but you don't have a broker sitting there that you can walk in and look at. They're
Yeah.
online or somewhere else.
Hmm.
It's worth every penny of commission to have that help. I,
Yeah.
I don't regret that 1 minute.
Walking into something that you don't know anything about and
Yes.
thinking that you're going to be a dominating force, I don't care how smart you are,
Yeah.
something's going to catch you. So you
Yeah.
need that person, and it's worth the money you
To be
lose.
able to, yeah.
It's an investment, is what you have to look at it
Because
as.
it's complicated.
Yeah, you're investing in that brokerage to help you. When you got it, did you have a mentor?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had several. I was very lucky. I mean, I had Donna Kay Gosick, so
Mm-hmm.
McKinney. So close friends. And I tell you, it's funny, Patty with Horizon. I could call Patty. She didn't care who I worked for.
Yeah,
I could call her. She's so smart, a
she's an
wealth of knowledge,
encyclopedia.
an encyclopedia. I mean, just a brain.
Yeah.
Brad Smith, I started out with them,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I mean, he had been in the business a long time. Sherman with Watson. I mean, I didn't have just one. I
Yeah.
had so many. Wallace Kane, he is, you know, I'd say founding father of real estate because you look up anything in any of these counties, he
Yeah,
backed it at some
I
point.
know.
But he's like, he's
Yeah.
family to
Yeah.
me. But I'd sit down and eat with him, have lunch, and talk to him,
Hmm.
and he would give me. I would say, "What would Wallace do?" My
Yeah.
WWD days,
Yeah.
and sometimes Crystal, she was starting Springs Title, and he was big helping her, and she's one of my close friends, and she would join. We'd go up to Turkey Creek,
Wow.
Creekstein, and eat lunch or whatever, and he'd give me all these old school real estate advice and lessons, and it was just stuff you can't get.
Valuable.
So I would say I had not one, but a baker's dozen,
Mhm.
and I could refer to any of those for whatever my need was at that time.
It's so important to do that. When I got in lending, I knew I wanted to be in lending back in the day. I was not very smart to do that, but but I wanted to do it, and I walked into Mortgage One. I literally walked in there to Steve Jacobson, who owned it, and I said, "I want to learn the business, and I'll work for free." He goes, "Here you go, his seat right here," and I sat next to him for a year, and I made $680 that year, but I learned everything about the
Right.
business. And that's what people I think need to understand is you may not be able to do that, but you need to at least have that mentorship and be willing to ask for the mentorship. It's amazing how many people are willing to help you.
Right.
You see here to Steve Jobs talking about when he called up William Hewlett of Hewlett Packard
Yeah.
in the phone book and actually was able to talk to. I mean, it's just you'd be surprised how many people, and again, connections, getting involved in things, letting people get to know who you are, so you can have that opportunity to get mentored.
Right.
But again, don't go just on money
Yeah.
because, like you said, I have seen that where you got those brokerages that are built for someone that has been in the business a long time,
Exactly.
that doesn't necessarily need that broker help anymore. You're new, you need to work at that place that may be taking half or more,
Yeah.
and you need to because they may be giving you signs and business cards and advice and office space and marketing. Like they're providing a lot to
Yeah.
you, plus the liability.
Yeah, I got a contract from one the other day. I'm not kidding. I literally said, how long have you been in the business? Oh, I just got my license. And she's with a company, is one of these that's online brokerage.
Yeah,
And I said, I'm going to send this back to you. I redlined it.
yeah,
I said, you just left your buyer wide open. Their escrow deposit is not covered at $15,000. I'm not that kind of person. I don't think my seller is, but then again, you're waving it in front of their face. So
yeah,
I'm going to send this back to you, and then I will help you. But you really need to get a brokerage that's going to give you help,
yeah.
because you're going to get another agent that is not me. It was the first contract she'd ever written.
Wow.
So she's like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And I said, "And if you don't have these floods disclosures, those are mandatory as of 2025.
Yeah.
You're going to get sued."
Yep.
Because I have two friends that are being sued right now that
Mhm.
work for another brokerage for not having them. So I'm just telling you,
Be on top of your paperwork.
she's like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." And I'm like, "You might want to rethink. 5 or 10% of your commission is not a lot
No.
when it comes to learning what you've got to have in front of you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having that protection,
Yes.
being able to lean on somebody is so
Correct.
important.
Yeah.
So, what do you see your future in the next 2 or 3 years in the business? Where do you see you going?
I don't know. I contemplate, like, in a place on the beach, maybe selling beach properties.
Yeah,
But I'm probably going to be doing what I'm doing right now.
yeah,
I love what I do. It gives me purpose. I think if I just sat and did that, I'd get really old really fast.
yeah,
So I think it keeps me active, and I don't know about young. It makes me feel really old some days, but I love the people connections, and I like the every deal is a different it's a different deal. It's a different challenge. So to be able to see that come to fruition. And I mean, I'm on some of these families, I'm on the third and fourth
yeah,
purchase. I mean, I had one that called me. She started out at a waitress at Conestoga's. And she called me last week, and her husband have outgrown the place I sold them in Jonesville. And they're gonna buy a bigger home now.
yeah,
So I'm meeting them at 5:30 today on a Friday
yeah,
that I didn't have plans, but I'm gonna do now,
yeah,
and then to get them priced out so I can get them in a bigger home. So that is the really cool thing when your first time home buyers are now second, and then sometimes they're buying vacation homes.
yeah.
So
Watching
I
them
I,
grow.
I love this part of
Yeah.
it. So I'm gonna be doing the same
So
thing.
yeah, you don't see it
Yeah,
changing.
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
doing the
you're gonna
same
be
thing.
here. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's a great career.
yeah,
It's a rewarding career, and when it's built right, you can have a great career in it.
yep. I believe that.
Well, thanks for coming on. I
Thank you for having
appreciate
me.
you being here, and we're going to continue to watch your growth, watch things go, and may have you on for some more mentoring
Okay.
and do some other things as well. So, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we're good.